Concepts about print. What is it? Anybody want to turn off the lights? Let's think about concepts about print. No. Oh, trying to get that little box to go away. Let's do it this way. Think about, watch this, think about concepts about print.
Ja, hva gjelder det?
Can't read the subtitles
Ja,
real well.
Ja,
Move up then.
ja, så den, jeg har fått gjort noen ting hele formiddagen.
Nei, jeg beklager. Han ligger opp til helt lyset, se på da skal alle ha gitt på en gang.
Ja.
Så du kommer ikke inn i den, eller?
Nei, den bare ligger der.
Har du forsøkt å åpne den?
Men åpne den, altså hvis det hadde vært så enkelt, så hadde jeg jo ikke tilkalt helpetest, hadde jeg vel?
Nei.
Nei. Bra, vi skal på en vann.
Nei, det skal være fortsatt inn.
Ja.
Du bare gjør der. Sånn.
Ja.
Da er vi i gang.
Ja, så langt kom jeg også.
Ok.
Men så stoppet det opp, og så var jeg redd for at noe av teksten skulle forsvinne, så jeg turte ikke å gå videre.
Åja, ok. Nei, men du skjønner, inni her, så ligger det kanskje flere 100 sider med lagret tekst. Så for å komme videre, så tar du tak i et ark, på den måten her, og så blar du over på neste side sånn. Da fortsetter teksten der.
Jeg blar, altså.
Du blar, ja.
Men jeg skal tilbake da.
Ja, da bare blar du tilbake igjen. Ta tak der. Og så, der. Så er du tilbake til den teksten du hadde sagt.
Ok, så den slutter der, og så fortsetter den der, ja. Ok, men når jeg skal avslutte, hva må jeg gjøre da?
Da bare slår du sammen permene.
Ja.
På den måten der. Sånn. Da er lukket der, ligger alt lagret inni der.
Altså, jeg risikerer ikke å miste noe av teksten her.
Ja, det ligger lagret der. Ja, i tilfelle sitter fyr på, ja, det er kanskje litt sannsynlig.
Ja, ok. Nei, for det er noe med det at liksom, når du har holdt på med skriftruller, så tar det litt tid å konvertere til å bla i en bøk. Ja. Ja, men du vet, før det går. Jeg må gå inn en gang til. Altså, jeg åpner sånn, og så, hva du kalte det? Jeg blar. Blar frem og tilbake. Og når jeg er ferdig, så bare lukker jeg den. Flott, kjempefint. Ja, men du, vent, ikke sant? Nå er den sånn igjen, nå får jeg ikke åpnet den.
Du må åpne fra andre siden.
Så det er ikke likegyldig, det altså?
Åpne fra den siden der. Sånn. Der nå.
Ja vel.
Har du lest manualen, eller?
Manualen?
Det skal følge med som manualen, så bruker jeg litt.
Åja, den ja. Ja, men ikke sant, det er det samme problemet. Får du ikke?
But what did it teach us about concepts about print? What is concepts about print? What is concepts about print? Don't think too hard on this. Peter.
How a book works?
Yeah. How a book works. What do I mean by that? How to hold a book, where the front is. How to turn pages.
How to read the text from left to right.
I'm not going to let you two sit next to each other anymore. How to read the text from left to right. Yes, in our culture. Other cultures read right to left. But in our culture, we read left to right. Top to bottom. Yep. But it's also concepts about print. And that's really what we're fundamentally talking about today. First, you have to know that print carries meaning. My 2-year-old son, he sees a blanket or magnets on the board, he calls it ABCDs. Oh, it's ABCDs. It's a shirt, might have some word on it or something. Goes, oh, ABCD shirt. There's some idea that something's happening there. Awareness of print, also you have to know that the world is full of print. And I've talked about this over and over again, that good teachers surround students in a world full of print, environmental print. But students should come to you by preschool, already immersed in a world of print. It's a matter of, have they had the right teachers in their lives to point that information out? More skilled abilities is the knowledge of print and books. And I think we discussed a lot of those concepts. Left to right, up to down, front and back, where the author is, where the title is. But what about the print concepts? Well, you need to know a couple things. That letters make up words. Words make up sentences. There's spaces between those sentences. Capital letters have a function that often you folks even still forget. And punctuation has a function. So knowing these basic, obviously this is scaled. Knowing that letters make up words, you can know that before you can read. But thinking about capital letters and punctuation, your chances are you're already reading before you're determining rules of that nature. So this is something that you really focus in on in early childhood education, especially if you're serving underrepresented and underserved students from lower socioeconomic school districts and zip codes who may not have been, who were immersed in that environmental print, but may not have had the guides to point out a lot of this information. And those are the book concepts that we've talked about. Cover, title, author, that we read left to right, where the front of the book is, where the back of the book is. Same thing with the idea of, I told you, my 2-year-old, like, when he gets to the back of the book, it was the same thing like in that little help desk video. He's like, he thinks it's broken. Literally, like, he'll start crying, like, it doesn't work! I'm like, no, Ben, turn it over. These are like ABCDs. Whereas my son, who's in kindergarten, has this good concepts of print and might actually kind of track with his finger, even though he can only read a few of those very basic CBC words or familiar sight words. So book concepts is really what we're getting at when we talk about concepts of print. Why is this important? Well, we know for a fact that there's a correlation, not a correlation, between concepts of words and phonemic awareness. We also know that many of the students will enter in the classroom with a concept about print, especially in kindergarten. We're going to practice giving this assessment to each other today. One that they will use in preschool and kindergarten. A lot of kindergartners will already come in with this knowledge. But it's very important to identify those that do not have that. That's kind of your survey assessment. If that happens and your quick assessment, going back to diagnostic reading assessment, indicates that your students may not have all the concepts of print down, what would you do next? Think back to Monday. Yeah, you'd give them you'd want to give them a different assessment to figure out exactly where the stage is breaking down. Then after we do that, what would we do next? Yes, provide an ongoing intervention with follow-up kind of assessments to see if they're making progress. Because we know that many children have limited access to texts. most importantly, concepts about print are critical to reading development. It is one of the key goals of early childhood education. You would want every student, if you teach preschool, leaving your classroom, being able to walk into kindergarten in the first 2 weeks and do well on a concepts about print assessment. In kindergarten, if students do not have this down well, you want to make it part of your earliest interventions to ensure that by week 4, week 5, they have this down. It is critical. What happened? I thought that was cute. They used the movie trailer feature in iMovie. But it was a great student project. And I wish we had the kind of resources here where I could assign that as a project for this class. Pick one of the elements and do my job. So what I want to do now, any questions about concepts about print? It's really not, it's not a hard